Good afternoon, class. This is our first class, Cyber Law and IPR. So firstly, we will cover about our syllabus and course outcomes. So let us discuss about our course outcomes. Identify regulatory, constitutional, organizational laws that affect the information technology professional. Firstly, we will able to know about laws, we can say rules that can affect information technology professional. Then categorize case law and common law. To current legal dilemmas in the technology field. So we are able to differentiate case law and common law according to cyber crime. Then course outcome 3. Outline the primary forms of intellectual property rights. So you are able to identify intellectual property rights. Then course outcome number 4. Compare the different types of intellectual property protection in terms of their key differences and similarities. So there will be multiple intellectual property rights. You are able to find common things and some difference between them. Then course outcome number 5. Analyze the effect of intellectual property right on society as a whole. So at last you are able to find what will be the effect of these rights on our society. Our subject name is cyber law and intellectual property rights. So cyber law means rules, regulation related to cyber, how we can use computers, social media, that will be comes under this. What will the rules for these things? So firstly, unit 1, introduction overview of computer and web technology. So firstly, we will just introduction about computer and web technologies. You all know about what is computer and what is web technologies. So firstly, we just overview these two topics. Then need of cyber law. What is the purpose? Why it required cyber law? Then cyber jurisprudence at international and Indian level. So in this, laws will be covered at international level and Indian level. Then aspects in cyber law, issues of jurisdiction in cyberspace. So key terms will be covered about jurisprudence and issues. What will be the issue of cyberspace, that will be covered under this topic. Then types, minimum contact theory and sliding scale theory, effects test and international targeting. And there will be a very important law, jurisdiction under IT Act 2000. There will be many sections under this topic. For example, if somebody share data without permission of owner, then what action will be taken by government? So that will be covered under this topic, IT Act 2000. Then in unit 2, cybercrime and legal framework, cybercrime against individuals. So in this, all cybercrimes will be covered. So there can be cybercrime against individual, means one person, institution, we can say any organization, college, hospital, etc. Then state, in which whole state will be affected. So there can be some cyber crimes like hacking, digital forgery, cyber stalking. Then our topic is ethics and attitudes of cyber world. So how we have to use cyber, what will be rules we must follow. Cyber pornography, identify theft and fraud, cyber terrorism, cyber defamation, right to privacy, data protection on internet, concept of privacy, threat to privacy on internet, self-regulation, approach to privacy. So in unit second, cyber crime will be covered. Different types of cyber crime. So in a unit second, we will cover about cyber crimes. Different types of cyber crimes like hacking, cyber terrorism, fraud, digital forgery. So now about unit 3. Overview of intellectual property introduction and need of intellectual property rights. So in this, firstly, we will cover about what is intellectual property right, then need, why these are required, IPR, intellectual property right in India and in abroad. As well in unit first, we learn about rules at India level and international level. Similarly, intellectual property right in India and in abroad, we can say at India level and at international level. Then data protection, about open source software, microeconomic impact of a patent system, patent and kind of inventions protected by a patent document, how to protect your inventions. So here we just describe about patent system in brief. For example, you develop a software. For example, you develop a software, but before you publish it, before you uh, make available to public, somebody stole your software and publish it as their name. So that is not patent system, means stealing of information generated by someone other. Let us understand with another example. For example, movie, any movie, but before it comes in cinema, somebody leak it on YouTube. So that is patent video, we can say. So some data that we use in free without paying anything. So how to protect your inventions, आप कैसे इसको protect कर सकते हो? Great granting of patent and rights of a patent. For example, if your software is used by someone other without permission, so what rights are provided to you by government? What actions you can take against them? Then unit 4, we will cover about copyright and trademark. What is copyright, latest editions of design, or copyright के advantage, disadvantage, impacts we will cover about copyrights. How long does copyright last? Why protect copyright? When somebody develops any website software, they have to buy, we can say, copyright. So without copyright, you cannot say that this information is belong to us, belong to you. So there will be a time period, there will be a validity. So we will cover about how long does copyright last, why protect copyright, what are relating rights, then difference between rights and copyright, trademark, rights of trademark, what kind of sign can be used as trademarks, and different types of trademark we will be cover. Function does a trademark perform, how is trademark protected, how trademark registered. So this is all about your syllabus. If you want to follow some books, PPT will be shared with you. But if somebody want some extra material, want to do some extra study, then you can follow these books. Cyber Law by Anuruddh Rastogi, Vakul Sharma, Information Technology Law and Practice, Cyber Law, Pankaj Sharma, Information Security and Cyber Laws, Navneet Nagpal, Intellectual Property Right, Dr. S.K. Singh, Intellectual Property Right and Central Law Agency. You can follow these books for some extra material, for some extra knowledge. So this is all about your syllabus. So now we will start our first topic, overview of computer. Computer is a device capable of performing computational and making logical decisions at a speed of million and even billions of times faster than human beings. So as we know, computer can perform any task in just few seconds. It's faster than human as well as it is robust than human. There is a less chance of errors. So firstly, we have to write just a definition of computer. You can write as per your choice, but definition must be correct. A computer is an electronic data processing device which accepts and store data input, process the data input, and generate the output in a required format. As we know, computer take input from us, process it and store, and then generate output to us. Advantages of computers: high speed, accuracy means less chance of errors, storage capability, diligence, versatility, reliability, automation, reduction in paperwork and cost. Then components of computer. Firstly, there will be an input unit. We can use keyboard, mouse. Input will be entered by user. So input can be stored in main memory and secondary storage. Then processing will be done at CPU, and CPU will be further divided into three categories: control unit, ALU, internal memory, and then output will be hand over to output unit. It can be monitor, printer, and any other device. So let us discuss about these units one by one. First one is input unit. This is a receiving section of computer, mostly keyboard. So we can say input devices will be covered under this unit. It can be keyboard, mouse, scanner, and any other input device. Then output unit. This is a shipping section of computer. So output devices will be covered under this unit. Output will be handed over to the user. It can be monitor screen, printer, speaker, and many more. Then memory unit. As we know, there will be two type of memory: primary memory and secondary memory. So primary memory is called it memory, and secondary memory known as storage. The main difference between memory and storage unit is speed. So memory will be fast and storage devices will be slow. So memory unit, this is the rapid access, relatively low capacity warehouse section of computer. It is often called main memory or primary memory. So primary memory and main memory will be fast, but its capacity will be low. Then arithmetic and logic unit. This is a manufacturing section of the computer. It is responsible for all the calculation and decision mechanisms. We can say our control statements will be handled by ALU. Different operators will be handled by ALU. So arithmetic operators, logical operator, all operators will be solved by ALU. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, even and or. Then control unit. This is the administrative section of computer. It is the computer coordinator and it is responsible for supervising the operation of other sections. So control unit handle controlling statements. CPU is combination of ALU and CU. We can say CPU equals to ALU plus CU. Then storage, as I discussed about it, this is long term. We can say permanent storage. It can hold data for long term. High capacity, but their speed is slow as compared to memory. Program or data that are not currently active are placed here. So the data used by CPU, we can say active data. So active data will be placed in memory unit, but data or program that are not active currently will be placed in secondary storage unit. So this is all about computer. Then our next topic is overview of web technology. Web technology refer to the various tools and techniques that are utilized in the process of communication between different types of devices over the internet. So web technology, for example, we use websites. So we can communicate between different type of devices over internet. For example, we use Facebook. So if you send some message to someone, it will be work over internet. So there will be used various types of tools and techniques. So different types of tools and techniques that can be used in web technology can be classified into following sections. So there will be web browser, server, web pages, web development, that will further divided into two categories: front end development and back end development. So first one is, what is web browser? Web browser is basically an application software to explore World Wide Web. It provides an interface between server and client and request to the server for web documents and services. So web browser is an application software. It provides an interface between server and client. Name of some web browsers are Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer. So these helps us to interact with server. For example, we have to search something. Like for example, cyber crime, definition of cyber crime. We just type in Google Chrome. Our request is sent to server by web browser and result is hand over to web browser. And after result is hand over to web browser, it displayed to us. So basically web browser provide interface between server and client. Then web server, it's cleared from its name. Server means who provide services. Web server means web services. So web server is a program which processes the network request of the user and serves them with files that create web pages. This exchange take place using hypertext transfer protocol. When we search something, like for example google.com, so it starts with HTTP, hypertext transfer protocol. So nowadays HTTPS, hypertext transfer protocol secure. So website server helps to provide us services requested by client. Then web page. A web page is a digital document that is linked to World Wide Web and viewable by anyone connected to the internet has a web browser. So if we have to visit any web page, two things are must: internet and web browser. So without internet and web browser, we cannot view any website, web page. So viewable by anyone connected to internet has a web browser. So single page of any website can be known as web page. Then web development. Web development, as it's cleared from its name, refer to building, creating, and maintaining of websites. If we want to create a website, if we want to maintain website, then it comes under web development. It includes aspects such as web design, web publishing, web programming, and database management. If we want to create any website, firstly we will design it, that what will be displayed on our home page, and many more. Web publishing, when you host your website over the internet. Web programming, you will code your website. Then database management will be also included. It is creation of application that work over internet, as known as website. So web development is used to develop a website, to develop, create, maintain, or publish a website. So there can be two phases when we have developed any website: front end development and back end development. Again, it's cleared from our topic name, front end development. Front end means viewed by user, the part of website that user interact directly is termed as front end. It is also known as client side. For example, we use HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So HTML we are used for designing purpose. We use HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So these uh, views are directly interacted by user. So front end development is part of website which is directly interacted by user. It is also known as client side. So HTML, CSS, JavaScript included in front end development. Then back end development, it is server side. Backend is the server side of website. It is part of website that user can't see and interact. So it will be not viewed by user. This is the portion of software that doesn't come in direct contact with user. So in backend, we can use PHP, Node.js, Python, Ruby, Java, Golang, C Sharp, storage. Storage will also covered under backend. For example, we design a website of online shopping. User create their account and their information will be stored somewhere. So username, user password, their detail. So storage will be not see by user. This is all about web technology. So now our next topic is cyber law. The term cyber, before we know about what is cyber law, firstly we just see what is cyber and what is law. So firstly, what is cyber? Cyber or cyberspace has today come to signify everything related to computers, internet, websites, data, emails, networks, software, data storage devices such as hard disk, USB disk, and even airplanes, ATM machine, biometric devices, CCTV cameras, drones, smartwatches, smartphones, and more. So we can say cyber, anything related to computer, internet, websites. Uh, for example, if we say about ATM machines, so it also connected with internet, also computer devices, biometric devices, CCTV cameras, or related to cyber. Then what is law? We can say rules, but which types of rules? So law includes rules of conduct that have been approved by government. So first one is law rules approved by government. It will be maintained by government, which are in force over a certain territory. So it will be it has, we can say, boundary. For example, if some rule is applied in Punjab state, then it will be followed inside Punjab, not outside. So in force over a certain territory, which must be obeyed by all person on that territory. So the rule will be applied all person of that territory. For example, if some rule is for state, so person of that state will have to obey that rule. Violation of these rules will lead to government action such as imprisonment or fine or an order to pay compensation. So if somebody break rule, then government can take action against them like fine or imprisonment. So cyber is related to computer, internet, website, etc. And law means rule. So cyber law is law governing cyberspace. Some rules that will be applied on cyber. In simple words, any crime with the help of computer and telecommunication technology that will be identified, which law will be applied, is known as cyber crime. Then cyber law encompasses law related to cybercrime, electronic digital signature, intellectual property, data protection, privacy. Let us understand about cyber law with a simple example. For example, in India, there are law. For example, if someone kill somebody, then there will be some punishment have to take. The government will punish that person. Like there can be fine, imprisonment as per crime. So similarly in cyber law, there will be punishment as per crime. So these crime can be cyber crime, electronic digital signature, intellectual property, data protection, privacy. For example, there are some cyber crime like someone post any pic without permission of that person. And another one, some criminal use bank data without permission. So these two crimes are different and punishment will be taken according to that. So firstly, there will be cyber crime. So which crime will be covered under this topic? Let us know about that. Cyber crime, any violation of specific law that relate to computer crime. If you break any law that is related to cyber crime, it come under cyber crime, computer crime. Computer related crime, violation of criminal law that involve knowledge of computer technology for their investigation, prosecution, etc. For example, someone use knowledge of computer technology. For example, we can say ransomware virus. Somebody use their knowledge to hold computer systems. So that comes under computer related crimes. Then computer abuse, intentionally act that may or may not be specifically prohibited by criminal statutes. Any intentional act involving knowledge of computer, use of technology is computer abuse. If one or some made or could have made gain, or one or more victims suffered or could have suffered loss. Then electronic and digital signature. The term electronic commerce or e-commerce is used to refer to electronic data used in commercial transactions. Electronic commerce law usually address issues of data authentication by electronic and digital signature. For example, we buy anything online, so we prefer online payment. So electronic transaction will be used. So in e-commerce means electronic commerce, online trade of goods and services. So in electronic commerce, electronic data is used, so it will be used by authenticated user. So that is covered under electronic and digital signature law. For example, your network net banking password and username is hacked by someone other and used by that person. So these fraud will be covered under electronic commerce laws. So all crimes related to electronic and digital signature are comes under this category. So different laws are there for to handle these frauds. Then intellectual property. Copyright law in relation to computer software, computer source code, website, cell phone, content, etc. Software and source code license. Trademark law with relation to domain name, meta tag, mirroring, framing, linking. Semiconductor law, which related to protection of semiconductor integrated circuits, design and layouts. Patent law in relation to computer hardware and software. So intellectual property, first one is copyright law. For example, you develop any website, but somebody publish that website as their, so these that will be comes under copyright law. Then software and source code license. Trademark, for example, brand logo. As we know, each brand use their logo and nobody other can use that logo. For example, Puma, if somebody try to use that tag, then Puma company can take action against them. Then semiconductor law means we use integrated circuits like motherboard. So design and layout cannot be copied by another one. For example, Dell design any motherboard, but other company like Lenovo cannot copy their design and layout without permission. Then patent law, hardware and software means any hardware or software developed by someone but used by other one without permission, that is comes under patent law. For example, somebody compose any music tone, but